Hey guys, this is Dr. Jim and Dr. Linda.
Oh, you opened it this time.
Yeah, I opened it, all right?
All right.
So I was waiting for you, but I thought I'd go ahead and do it. And so, we wanted to kind of talk to you about a day we had just, 2 days ago?
A couple of days ago.
Okay. We've told you we've been married 36 years, and it'll be 36 years next week. Maybe we'll have to do an anniversary edition.
We will. We will.
Yeah.
Anniversary edition.
Yeah, we'll have to do an anniversary
edition. Do some before and after.
We probably won't go out to dinner.
Yeah, we probably won't. That's just the way life is these days.
That's right. But so anyway, have you had a day like this where you kind of get up? I'm a to-do list person. I've got my points of interest.
Yes, she is.
And targeted, and then you get interrupted, and then you get interrupted again, and you start putting out fires for the day. Brush fires everywhere.
We heard it said that if you're the CEO or the head of anything, that's what you do. You're a fireman. You're putting out brush fires all day long. And so,
and by the middle of the afternoon, my experience is that I'm like on edge, and as how upbeat I tried to be and everything, it was just one of those days.
Yes,
right?
It is. Yes,
it was. And so we got done with practice that day, and we said to one another, I said to him,
yeah.
So let's do what we used to do. Whenever we'd have days like this, and it would just be so hectic, especially when we had the 4 kids at home and all the kind of things.
Change the environment.
Change the environment, get away from it. And what we used to do is, we didn't have any money, and so we'd go share a soft drink, and we would eat chips and salsa.
That were free.
And we would have enough money to leave a tip. Okay.
at Serrano's in Austin or someplace like that, wherever we were.
And so anyway, that's what we did. And we just took stock of the day and reset and refocused. And, that's kind of a little something that I think that so many of us don't do. We push through. I talk about overcoming to become all the time.
Yes.
And sometimes that means, I think people think that means just push through, don't recognize where you are,
Right.
Just go through it.
Just ignore the reality.
Yeah.
But
you can't ignore the reality so many times. You have to certainly address it. And so we're just going to kind of come to you and bring you some of our experiences of things we want to do. I want to talk a little bit about self-awareness.
Yeah, and knowing who you are, and knowing the other person, because that helps you, and knowing different personalities. There are some great books out there that I can refer you to talk about different personality types, because not everybody's wired the same way.
Early on, we
recognize that
Maggie, our oldest daughter, was probably 1 year old, and we got a book by the name of Personality Puzzle.
Right.
And by Florence Littauer, highly recommended.
That's right.
And some of these older books that you can read, that's now a 30-year-old
book. Yeah.
But it's a wonderful book. But it really helped us understand who we are.
Because Linda
individually, but who we are together. Okay.
That's right. Because we become a blend of the personality types. She takes on more of me, and I take on more of her.
Oh yeah, he used to be a wallflower. I'm serious. I mean, it'd be one of these things where you go to a party, and I've always been out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Out there.
Okay.
Third ring of Saturn. Okay.
And I'd walk up and go, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? Why don't you want to dance? Why don't you want to have a good time?
And I was having a good time. I just didn't look like it.
And I still say,
because I was just standing
let your face know that you're having a good time.
And I was just standing there watching everybody. That was my good time. I was watching people,
and that was really
learning from people.
That was really some conflict, because I was really over the top. And I'm sorry, guys, I was over the top more than what I am now.
Oh gosh, we used to joke when we were early married that I'd have to set my alarm 15 minutes early so I could make sure I wore the pants that day. And it was a learning process.
It really
and because
was.
If I didn't take charge, she damn sure was.
Well, and understanding take charge. We certainly have lived a life to where we both have set our own personal goals, our goals together, and that's what has magnified and multiplied everything about this relationship.
Well, and when you're working with other people, you have to, like Linda and like other people, like the public, you have to learn, how they're wired and how you can best deal with them, how you deal with yourself. You got to know yourself.
Well, that's the thing. I found out, and I know to this day, with our marriage, this is what makes such an amazing relationship, is when the person that you're in love with loves you so much that they love you on your worst moment, because they understand you in that worst moment. Jim has seen me as you will never see me. He has seen him.
Yeah. I'll lock her in the closet before I ever let y'all see her that way. Okay?
And, he knows my sins, if you will. He knows who I am at my best and at my worst. He knows where I'm at my most vulnerable. And because of that, I better be self-aware of who I am. Otherwise, he would always put to my view, well, this is how you are, this is how you are, this is how you respond. And if I was not self-aware of that, I would be insulted and in contrast to that.
That's right.
And so that self-awareness is important. So, we early on, we read books about relationship, very much faith-based books, many of them. And, we learned early on that our words are vital to our relationship, good or bad. You plant that word, it's hard to pull it up by the roots. It still has a root.
You can't unring a bell, and you can't unsee things. And so, there's no such thing as a mental enema. I mean, once it's in the brain, once that picture's in there, it's there, and it's going to be there for a long, long time. And so beware. You have to have a mental gateway that you have to filter things out, and sometimes in advance. I'm not going to let that in. I'm not going to participate in that. I'm not going to go there.
Yes, just stop it.
Just stop it. And I'll tell you what Linda's like. She seems to be very.
You can now expose an expose. Is that what we're gonna have?
Not really.
But anyway,
she seems very spontaneous.
Oh.
And
okay.
She's like an aircraft carrier. She has an agenda. She's very powerful, but she's going in one direction, hell or high water, and don't try to, if you start trying to change her direction, oh gosh, it's going to be a bad day.
And it is.
And that happens often. And I have to go to the aircraft carrier and go like, it'll be all right.
We'll just
make this turn.
It's going to take a long time to make a turn.
Sometimes I'm more like a PT boat. I can maneuver a little bit.
You give yourself too much credit. But that's the thing. We help steer one another, and that's what I would recommend. I'm certainly not a counselor. I'm just reflecting on how, gosh, it's amazing. Oh, we haven't even talked about, we're going to start talking about how our dating was.
Oh.
Okay, so we're not going to talk there, but we got to
that'll be a whole other video.
But, it is amazing that we
survived it.
Because life is contrast.
Yeah.
It is the good, it is the bad, it is the up, it is the down, it is the give and it is the take.
We actually had a girlfriend that refused to be in our wedding because she didn't think that it would last. She thought it was a farce because we fought so much.
Okay, so I thought we weren't going to talk about
But anyway, just giving y'all that insight.
It's exactly right. I mean, we've got some tales to tell about that. So, and you have to be wary of who you're listening to. I mean, Jim is my best friend, and I hope you can say that about your spouse.
That's right.
But if you can't, you are in this relationship, and you have to be wary about who you bring in to your mind as you're living your relationship. If you're listening to the girls and the gossip and the complaining stand, there's never been a statue that was built to a critic, right? If you're listening to those type of people, then you're not going to be able to build your relationship. You have to provide input, whether it be through books, through podcasts, whatever it might be, that grows yourself and helps grow the relationship.
It's making that conscious effort of whatever you're letting in. Opening that filter to the proper things and closing it to the negative.
Because you'll eventually discover your life's philosophies. together. You know, you really will. You know.
Oh, when you're 21, 25, 30 years old, you may not know beans from buckshot.
Well, I know when we were married, we didn't.
Yeah.
We loved life and we loved encountering life.
Right.
Okay. But sometimes life hit us square upon the jaw really, really hard, and learning how to overcome that was a big thing. But you know, as we kind of wrap things up, because I don't know how long this is going, but as we wrap things up, you know, our life's philosophies about relationship.
Linda has, well, I won't talk about hers, you know, I'll let her do hers. But, you know, one of my favorites is, you know, life is tough. It's tougher when you're stupid, you know, and you know, and the old thing is stupid is as stupid does. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the poster, you know, got the trophy. And we've done some stupid things in the past, not really meaning to.
No.
You know, we thought that, you know, number one, it was one of these devil may care type of things, or we just didn't think it would work out that way.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, we're like, maybe
In
that wasn't the best decision.
That happens in relationships too. You know, you have to give some concerted effort and energy in relationships, whether it be business relationships, family relationships, whatever it is. But that is an amazing philosophy. I mean, it sounds very grounded, but it is. It's an amazing, you know, it's just tougher when you're stupid. You have to give, who are your counselors?
And whose fault is it?
Yeah.
Whose fault? That, you know, it's taking responsibility for the stupid moves and for the circumstances in your life that aren't ideal. You go, you know, if you're looking for somebody to blame, go look at the guy in the mirror.
Right.
You know?
And so my philosophy, you can ask any one of my kids this, and they can finish the sentence, God bless their hearts. You know, and but you know, every day is a good day. Some days are just better than others, you know, and that's what you live by. You know, every day is joyful. In the moment, it might not be what you thought it was going to be, but there is joy in the moment. From that, every time you have a moment that is less than what you thought it was going to be, that's the opportunity to share, to give, to overcome, to have joy.
That's
you
right.
know,
Our kids give us joy. That doesn't mean they all make us happy. She gives me joy. That doesn't mean she makes me happy all the time, or I make her happy all the time.
And then the other philosophy is, you know, figure it out and have fun. You know, got to figure things out and keep a light look on what is going on.
That's right.
Because everything's going to change.
Everything's going to change.
In the moment, it's going to change.
That's right.
So, you know, we got this thing called the YouTube channel. We want you to subscribe and notify and share
and share,
you know, all that comment and all that kind of stuff.
And
but we're just glad, you know.
Now, if you don't know where the comments are, if you scroll all the way down past the other videos that are down here below us, there's a little box down there that'll allow you to make comments.
So if this is something that you want to share with someone else, please do so. It's a joy to us to kind of think things through. We really, you know, I made a couple little notes to keep me on track because there's so much to talk about.
That's right.
But, you know, this is really a joy to kind of just sit down and do this.
All right. Well, thank you guys.